दिल्ली की जो बैठकें होती हैं, चाहे वो फेस टू फेस हों या ऑनलाइन भी, उसमें हम उत्तर भारत से जो संबंधित मुद्दे हैं उन पे तो सहज ही ध्यान चला जाता है, लेकिन जो देश के दूसरे हिस्सों के सवाल हैं उनके बारे में हम लोग कम चिंता करते हैं। और लोकतंत्र में सबको सबकी एक समग्र ढंग से चिंता करना ज़रूरी है। तो क्लाइमेट क्राइसिस अलग अलग समाज के तबकों और देश के अलग अलग जो इकोलॉजिकल प्राकृतिक पर्यावरणीय अंचल हैं उनमें अलग अलग ढंग से उस संकट का प्रकटीकरण होता है। कोस्टल एरिया में अलग ढंग से होगा, हिमालय में ग्लेशियर के पिघलने से होगा, कहीं बादल फटने से होगा। तो अलग अलग अंचलों की अलग अलग समस्याएं हैं और जिस हद तक राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय नीति विषयक जो समाधान हैं वो भी इस स्थानीयता को ध्यान में रखकर होने चाहिए, एक समग्रता से होने चाहिए। इस हिसाब से हम लोगों ने आज सौम्या जी को आग्रह किया है कि कोस्टल कम्युनिटीज़ और फिशर फोक यानी कोस्ट समुद्री तटीय जो कम्युनिटीज़ हैं उसके अलावा इनलैंड फिशिंग यानी देश के अंदर जो तालाबों में, झीलों में, नहरों में, नदियों में जो जहाँ जहाँ भी मछुआरा समुदाय है उनकी क्या क्या समस्याएं हैं क्लाइमेट क्राइसिस के चलते, इस पर सौम्या जी अपनी बात रखेंगे।
In this roughly 40-45 minutes presentation and then question answer or discussion, and I will love to have more inputs from you all also. We will not be able to cover everything that is happening on all kinds of changes and all kind of responses needed. But I will try to highlight the major changes that has happened already and the changes that are going to happen based on scientific modeling studies, scientific projection and trend studies. None of these things that I am saying are actually not from WhatsApp University, not from any unverified sources, not from any sort of certain survey based things. These are all based on concrete data of what happened over the last 3-4 decades and what are the projections based on different earth system changes that has been observed. So that's the grounding for this discussion. तो ये यदि हम आगे चले तो वन ऑफ द मेजर इम्पैक्ट्स और आई वुड से प्रोबेबली दैट इज इम्पैक्टिंग मोस्ट इज द चेंज in cyclone patterns, the numbers, the intensity and the duration of cyclone on both Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. आप जानते हैं जो बंगाल का खाड़ी बे ऑफ बंगाल में दिस वाज ट्रेडिशनली साइक्लोन प्रोन और अरेबियन सी में अरब सागर में दिस वाज नॉट, अरब सागर में उतना साइक्लोन हिस्टोरिकली हमारा नहीं होता था। हिस्टोरिकली मीन्स मैं बोल रहा हूँ पिछले 130-40 साल का जो मीटरोलॉजिकल रिकॉर्ड ऑफ द 130-40 ईयर्स जो हमारा पास है, IMD के पास है, बाकी संस्थाओं के पास है, जो साइंटिफिक इंस्टीट्यूशन के पास है, उनके आधार पर द अरेबियन सी वॉज मच मोर साइक्लोन प्रोन। द 30 years before, the rough estimate was 4:1. That means if Indian coastline is hit by 5 cyclones in certain period, maybe 2 years, then 4 will originate in the Bay of Bengal, 1 will originate in Arabian Sea. That was the rough estimate over a long term, long means again 120, 130, 140 years. Of late that has changed dramatically. Several changes has taken place and this is impacting the livelihood of coastal people, including coastal fish workers, coastal farmers, coastal population, to small tourism industry, everyone. So the thing that has changed is in the Arabian Sea, the cyclone numbers, the cyclone intensity and the cyclone duration, all three have sharply increased. The main reason that has been, there are 3-4 different factors which control, 3-4 अलग अलग चीज साइक्लोजेनेसिस को कंट्रोल करता है। साइक्लोजेनेसिस मतलब साइक्लोन कहाँ जेनरेट होगा, पैदा कहाँ होगा, कैसे होगा। तो वन ऑफ द थिंग इज यदि सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर जो ऊपर का 50-100 मीटर का जो टेम्परेचर है, दैट हैज़ टू बी ए मिनिमम ऑफ 26.5 डिग्री सेल्सियस। उसका नीचे होगा, यदि 25 डिग्री होगा तो वहाँ साइक्लोजेनेसिस का चांस बहुत कम हो जाते हैं। पिछले कुछ सालों में एक्चुअली फ्रॉम 23, 22, लेट 22 ऑनवर्ड्स दुनिया भर का सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर्स ऑल रिकॉर्ड्स हैव बीन ब्रोकन। मतलब वो पुराना जो रिकॉर्ड था बहुत धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा था, लेकिन सडनली अराउंड 22 देयर वाज ए जंप नोटिस्ड। मतलब जो रिकॉर्ड तोड़ा वो ऐसे 0.001 जो ट्रेंड होता था ऐसे नहीं हुआ, एक सडन जंप हुआ थ्रू आउट द ईयर सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर्स। और ये सिर्फ हमारा जो अरेबियन सी, बे ऑफ बंगाल और इंडियन ओशन का उत्तरी हिस्सा, जिसको टुगेदर इसको नॉर्थ इंडियन ओशन रीजियन बोला जाता है। तो नॉर्थ इंडियन ओशन रीजियन में ये इक्वली दुनिया भर का सागर में जो है एक टेम्परेचर राइज हुआ, लेकिन अरेबियन सी में ये दिखा गया और भी तेज़ी से हुआ। और दूसरा एक चेंज हुआ जो इसको हम विंड शेयर बोलते हैं, जो हवा दूसरा डिफरेंट हाइट में हवा कैसे चलते हैं, तो उसमें विंड शेयर में कमी आए हैं। तो ये भी दोनों इम्पैक्ट क्लाइमेट चेंज में आया है, क्योंकि हम जानते हैं जो एक्स्ट्रा जो वार्मिंग जिसको फोर्सिंग बोलते हैं, जो इतना ग्रीन हाउस गैस पिछले 150-200 साल से हमने जमा किया, जिसको एक बड़ा हिस्सा 50%, 40% तो समुंदर और ग्रीनरी ले लिया, लेकिन बाकी 50% के आसपास एटमॉस्फेयर में जमा हो गया एक्स्ट्रा। तो हर साल करीब 18-20 गीगाटन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एक्स्ट्रा एटमॉस्फेयर में जमा हो रहा है। तो जितना ये वायुमंडल में आएगा, द मोर द ग्रीन हाउस गैसेज एक्यूमुलेट इन द एटमॉस्फेयर, the more they are capturing, heat capturing, that is heat means low energy infrared capturing capacity, जो अर्थ का रेडिएशन है उसको बढ़ाएगा और वो री रेडिएट करेगा टुवर्ड्स द अर्थ। तो उसमें अर्थ का एनर्जी बैलेंस बिगड़ेगा और अर्थ गर्म होकर उस थोड़ा सा टेम्परेचर बढ़ के उस बैलेंस को अचीव करने का कोशिश करेगा। दैट इज सिंपल फिजिक्स। तो इसके चलते जो एक्स्ट्रा ग्रीन हाउस गैस से जो वार्मिंग हो रहा है, जो एक्स्ट्रा हीट कैप्चर हो रहा है, पिछले काफ़ी बड़े दशक का जो रिकॉर्ड है उसमें 92% के आसपास एक्स्ट्रा हीट समुंदर में गया है। द सी हैज़ एब्जॉर्ब रफली 92% ऑफ द एक्स्ट्रा हीट फोर्सिंग, एंड ओनली अराउंड 8%, मे बी 8.5%, मे बी लिटिल अराउंड दैट हैज़ बीन रिटेन बाय द एटमॉस्फेयर, जिससे हमें परेशानी हो रहा है। तो समुंदर में इसको चेंज बहुत तेज़ी से हुआ है, एंड नाउ दैट इज़ बीइंग रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द ग्लोबल sea surface temperatures, breaking all records. And this has actually created conditions for one more number of cyclones, typhoons, hurricanes, whatever, tropical storms, subtropical storms, सभी जगह में हो रहा है। ये सिर्फ भारत का मामला नहीं है, दक्षिण एशिया का मामला नहीं है, लेकिन हम दक्षिण एशिया व भारत में बैठ के बात कर रहे हैं, इसलिए टुडे वी विल फोकस ऑन व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन आवर कोस्ट। द सेकेंड इज ये जो मिड ट्रोपोस्फियरिक ह्यूमिडिटी लेवल, ये मतलब ट्रोपोस्फियर जो सबसे नीचे का जो वायुमंडल का हिस्सा है उसको ट्रोपोस्फियर बोलते हैं, जिसमें हम सारे वेदर फिनोमेना उसमें होता है, जिसमें हम सांस लेते हैं, जिसमें हवाई जहाज चलते हैं, सारे ट्रोपोस्फियर है। तो ट्रोपोस्फियर का जो ऊपरी हिस्सा और नीचे के बीच में ह्यूमिडिटी इतना बड़ा है, कारण वही है समुद्र का टेम्परेचर बढ़ा है, हीट मॉइस्चर पंपिंग बढ़ रहा है। तो मिड ट्रोपोस्फियरिक ह्यूमिडिटी जब बढ़ते हैं तब भी साइक्लोजेनेसिस और स्टॉर्म जनरेशन ये बढ़ते रहते हैं। और तीसरा, जैसे मैंने बोला, कुछ कुछ सागर में ये कंडीशन बहुत तेज़ी से बढ़ा है, जिसमें अरेबियन सी इज़ वन ऑफ देम, जिसमें द नंबर ऑफ साइक्लोजेनेसिस हैज़ इंक्रीज वेरी फास्ट। इसमें कुछ रिकॉर्ड है, इसमें थोड़ा सा वेदर दिस इंक्रीज ओवर द लास्ट 17-18 ईयर्स इज़ 82% और नियरली 100%, इसमें थोड़ा सा डिबेट है, एंड आई विल नॉट गो इनटू दैट डिबेट बिकॉज मेट्रोलॉजिस्ट और क्लाइमेट साइंटिस्ट में ये 2-1 ईमेल चेन में हम भी साथ में थे, तो ये डिबेट है, कोई बोल रहा है नहीं है 100 नहीं है 82%, सो दैट इज़ इमेटेरियल। Even if it has increased by 82% over the last 17-18 years, this is an unprecedented increase. and हमारे कभी भी हिस्ट्री में 16, 17, 18, 20 साल में किसी एक मेजर वेदर सिस्टम में, एक क्लाइमेट सिस्टम में 80% से ऊपर बढ़ोतरी हो जाए इतनी छोटा पीरियड में, ये दुनिया में कभी होता नहीं है, एक्सेप्ट ए कैटास्ट्रॉफिक इवेंट। जैसे जब 66 मिलियन ईयर्स पहले जब एक एस्टेरॉयड हिट किया था, दैट इज़ अ कैटास्ट्रॉफिक इवेंट। हाँ, आप मानिए 74,000 ईयर्स एगो द टोबा सुपर वोल्केनिक इरप्शन जो ऑलमोस्ट ह्यूमैनिटी को एलिमिनेट कर दिया था, तो उस ढंग का कैटास्ट्रॉफिक इवेंट छोड़ के इतना फास्ट चेंज एक बड़ा क्लाइमेट सिस्टम में होता नहीं है, बट दिस हैज़ बीन ऑब्जर्व। मैं इसको रिपीट कर रहा हूँ कि ये कोई कॉन्जेक्चर नहीं है, किसी प्रोजेक्शन नहीं है, ये हुआ है। और ये हुआ है, उसका रिजल्ट है जो हमारे जो वेस्टर्न कोस्ट है, द वेस्टर्न कोस्ट ऑफ इंडिया एज आई सेड वाज नॉट ट्रेडिशनली वेरी साइक्लोन प्रोन. If you move around in the Bay of Bengal coast, whether it is Bangladesh or India, you will find lot of preparation at least to anticipating the cyclones. If you go to Bangladesh, in West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, you will find lot of cyclone shelters. People know what happens when a cyclone comes. People know where to go. They know the cyclone shelter location. They know that cyclone shelter, the bottom is for animals, the upper floor is for this, then the upper floor is for them, and people have to be carry these elements. This more or less is known in the coastal belt of Bay of Bengal, eastern India, the entire eastern coast. But on the western coast, I found there is very little preparation for this. And obviously, if you have not traditionally been facing cyclones too many cyclones, very occasionally, then the preparation and that mental setup is not there, and the infrastructure setup is also not there. Only recently it has started. Recently means in the last 8-9 years, some preparations have started. So what has happened now, because the west coast cyclones have suddenly increased so dramatically, the loss of lives and property and livelihood have increased dramatically. One of the complaints that I have, since I have been working with the fish workers unions, both the large scale national unions for more than a decade, almost a decade and a half, almost, this has been regularly reported that, as we know, the coastal fish workers don't have a 365 days working year. They have something like 180, 190 kind of days of working year. In that, because there are fishing bans, monsoon, this, that. So in that, if there are 4 or 5 cyclone warnings, and it often happen that some cyclone warning is given, then that particular cyclone or deep depression or the tropical storm veers around and do not do a landfall on Indian coast, go in and end in the sea. That can happen because the cyclogenesis, साइक्लोन्स समुद्र के ऊपर ही पैदा होता है. साइक्लोन्स हो जिसको हमारे यहाँ साइक्लोन बोलते हैं, सब ट्रॉपिकल काफ़ी कुछ एरिया में टाइफून बोलते हैं, कुछ पैसिफिक एरिया में, कुछ नॉर्थ अटलांटिक एरिया में उसको हैरिकेन बोलते हैं. लेकिन फेनोमेना इज़ द सेम जेनेसिस, सेम काइंड ऑफ मैकेनिज्म, खाली नाम अलग अलग है दुनिया भर में. तो ये जो है, ये ज़रूरी नहीं है जो साइक्लोन बनने के बाद उस लैंड में आएगा ही, वो समुद्र में भी ख़त्म हो सकता है. लेकिन लैंडफॉल ऑफ साइक्लोन्स हैव ऑल्सो गॉन अप ड्रास्टिकली, and that is causing a huge lot of disruptions. One, as I said, the livelihood, particularly the coastal fish workers. Coastal fish workers, if a cyclone warning is given, as all of you probably know, don't go to the sea. समुद्र में 4 दिन मत जाओ, 5 दिन मत जाओ, साइक्लोन आ रहा है, तो you lose your livelihood. और जो मैंने देखा, यदि कोस्ट, यदि सी अनडिस्टर्ब्ड रहे, कंपैरेटिवली अनडिस्टर्ब्ड रहे, तो ये कोस्टल फिश वर्कर्स अर्न्स रीजनेबली वेल. मछली जो मिलता है उनको काफ़ी अच्छा उससे इनकम होता है. हाँ, अभी नाउ देयर इज़ ए चेंज दैट लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव स्टार्टेड वर्किंग एज वेज लेबर, नॉट एज ओनर्स ऑफ बोट्स और को ओनर्स ऑफ बोट्स, or not as pagadia fishers like land based fishing, not going on a boat or in unpowered boats. So most of them, they do of this kind of nature, which is an independent livelihood. But increasingly there is a wage based earning also. People go out on trawlers and get a wage and some money. So both have, if you had not allowed to go to the sea for 5 days for a cyclone warning, and then this comes 4 times a year or 5 times a year, then you lose 25 days of your livelihood, and that's a very substantial part of your earning. That's why there is a demand from the fish workers unions, and I have been involved in discussions and raising this with the fish workers from, as I said, nearly 1.5 decades. So there is a clear demand and clear logic for that, because the climate justice principle also very clearly shows that you are not responsible. फिश वर्कर्स इसके लिए जिम्मेदार नहीं है, इसका कंट्रीब्यूशन फिश वर्कर्स का नहीं है. एक्चुअली फिश वर्कर्स का जो कार्बन फुटप्रिंट व क्लाइमेट इम्पैक्ट, वो ऑलमोस्ट नेग्लिजिबल है, एक्सेप्ट पावर्ड बोट का थोड़ा एक मार्जिनल इम्पैक्ट है. लेकिन the impact on their livelihood, their earnings and also their properties is a major impact. So there is a very strong ground for raising this demand as large scale unions that every lost day due to cyclone warning should be compensated. And this demand, ये जो demand है, ये इसका एक strength मिलता है क्योंकि नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट एक्ट में साइक्लोन को एक डिज़ास्टर बोल के नेचुरल कोट अनकोट नेचुरल डिज़ास्टर बोल के नोटिफाई किया हुआ है. मतलब माना गया है ये नेचुरल डिज़ास्टर है और इसके चलते जिनको नुकसान होगा दे आर एलिजिबल फॉर द मैकेनिज्म दैट विल बी एक्टिवेटेड अराउंड द एनडीएम, द नेशनल डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट एक्ट 2005. तो इसका ग्राउंड प्रिपेयर करना, इसको सही डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के साथ, जो बड़ा है साइक्लोन उसके चलते कितना लाइवलीहुड लॉस्ट हो रहा है. If the fish workers union people, they take it up on a regular, on a very systematic study, I think there will be a very strong ground for this, putting this demand strongly with the government and demanding this, that all the livelihood lost will have to be compensated at whatever rate it is. A per day rate, per day lost is this rate. The second major impact that is happening is loss of property. I'll come to loss of lives also because that is also being taken up. बट व्हेन देयर इज़ अ लॉस ऑफ लाइफ ड्यू टू साइक्लोन्स, जब लोगों का मौत होता है समंदर में, ये हुआ भी है. और ओखी के टाइम ये केरला से शुरू करके आपने काफ़ी लोगों ने देखा होगा. ड्यूरिंग ओखी दिस हैज़ बीन क्वाइट अ बिट एंड इवन ड्यूरिंग अम्फान देयर आर लॉट ऑफ लॉसेस. इवन ड्यूरिंग यश और ऑन द वेस्टर्न कोस्ट निसर्ग, ताउते, बिपरजय, all of these western coast cyclones have done massive kind of economic damage and loss of life. So the second part though I was talking about is the loss of properties, and in this property there are two kinds of properties which are lost massively. One is movable properties which can be prevented to some extent. What is immovable properties? If you have a small house or a well or a small plot of land in the coastal areas, you cannot move it, you cannot take it inland when the cyclone comes. And this came very starkly in front when during the COVID, if you remember, during COVID on the eastern coast, first 2020 Amphan hit, May 2020. Amphan was in many decades the recorded strongest cyclone to hit India. Hit means which made landfall in any Indian land. So West Bengal and northern Odisha, mostly West Bengal and some parts of Bangladesh. So that was the strongest. But next year when cyclone Yash hit again from the Bay of Bengal and made landfall, there was a forecast from IMD, India Meteorological Department, which is the apex body which runs the regional center for cyclones and other weather phenomena also under WMO, and a WMO's scheme, global scheme. They projected that Yash will be a much weaker cyclone, so the losses might be less. And some of the NFSF people and NFF people, if you are there, you might remember in 2021, I sent a immediate warning 3 or 4 days maybe before the cyclone that though the IMD is saying this, the storm surge, because when I was noticing, I saw 3 factors converging and immediately it struck me, इसका wind speed जो IMD बोल रहा है कम होगा, उन्होंने बोला cyclone उससे काफ़ी कमज़ोर होगा, that's true. लेकिन because the 3 factors were converging, this storm surge will be much larger. Much larger means this will be very large. So I immediately sent out a warning to both the at that time NPSSFW group and NFF group that this is going to have a very strong storm surge and loss of property, both movable and immovable, are going to be large. So please remove or move inland all your movable properties like boats, nets, etc. And after the day after the cyclone, after Yash hit, I got a phone call from I don't remember either West Bengal or our West Bengal, I think, Dakshin Banga Matsyajibi, either Devashish or Milan or someone. Dada, hum to barbad ho gaye. So when I asked why, and they said, I said, what happened? They said exactly what you said. So I asked them, why didn't you do this preparation? At least there were 4 days. So, yeah, sound? So when okay, so when this warning was there, then why were you not prepared? They said, one, the IMD said that it will be a much lower. So a lot of people thought अम्फान झेल लिया, अभी इसमें ये तो कम ही होगा. So that was one. Second, in sending out that warning, they translated it into Bangla and that note that I sent, 2-page note, and Odia probably, and it took time, and by that time the evacuation had already started. In fact, one thing has to be acknowledged for government action, that after the 1999 Odisha cyclone, the mechanism for responding to cyclone disasters by the government of India has improved dramatically. There is a far better radar network, including Doppler radars. There is a far better tracking and forecasting mechanism which happens on the ground and which is given out in the media. There is a far better evacuation mechanism which happens. 10 lakh people, 10 lakh plus people were evacuated in total during Amphan. So the loss of life, कितने लोग मरते थे, वो एकदम ड्रामेटिकल नीचे हो गया. और उसमें मैंने ये भी देखा, when people die, some of this, a fairly large percent of them die because of their own faults or own such of things. Okay, मैं अपना घर बंद करके नहीं आया, हाँ चोरी हो जाएगा. I have seen this kind of thing happening reported by local groups. So this way we have to acknowledge that the government of India, particularly the Earth Science Ministry and the IMD, all together has improved along with the state governments, particularly in the eastern coast, Bay of Bengal coast, the cyclone forecasting, cyclone tracking, exact path forecasting, iska warning systems in very clear languages, and the evacuation mechanism. This has increased very, very well. So this is really commendable. But the problem is, you cannot, even if you get a warning, you cannot remove your immovable properties, and it's not also very easy unless you are ready to do that and you have built up the infrastructure to even move safely inland your movable properties. And for a fish worker family, the boat is the lifeline. Boat and net, these are the lifelines. So साइक्लोन में यदि आपको बोट टूट जाए क्योंकि वो बाहर खड़े हैं, बाहर पानी में बंधा हुआ है और बहुत सारे वेव्स आके स्टॉर्म्स आ जाके उसको लेके भटाम से मार दे और वो बोट टूट जाए, तो दैट्स अ वेरी मेजर ब्लो. सो वी नीड टू, व्हाई आई एम सेइंग दिस with emphasis, we need to, now that cyclones not only in the Bay of Bengal coast but in the Arabian Sea coast has increased dramatically, and there is a very clear trend that will keep on going like this, if not increase further, if not, which might happen, then we need to build up our own preparatory mechanisms, including quick removal inland into safe areas of our movable properties like boats, nets, etc. infrastructure. And this kind of things, if you plan well, this can be easily built up by the collectives, not by individual fish worker families, but by collectives, even by village networks. And today, in all coastal areas, coastal villages, panchayats can take up, if they plan, if they propose in their planning, because every panchayat has now that planning authority, and submit them. So they should do that sort of input in saving livelihoods and resources and assets of fish worker families. So that's one area. The second kind of losses that has increased quite dramatically, and I'll again give you an example of when I was interacting, I was working in the Sundarbans in Pathar Pratima block. I was working with a large group of women, they are called there in West Bengal, this Nari Jagaran Samitis. So in one of the meetings we are having this meeting on the ground under the cyclone shelter in Dakshin Gangadharpur village in Pathar Pratima block. It's a very large panchayat with a population around 59,000 people, but that's a panchayat. So we are having the meeting in the ground where under the cyclone shelter of that village. So when I asked, there are about 80 women attending this meeting, we are discussing. So when I asked, how many of your families, these 80 women are from 80 different families, have lost some, that means major damage to your houses in the last 5 years. Roughly 80% raised their hands, and many of them told what actually has happened. That means एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा में 80% फैमिली में साइक्लोन का चलते पिछले उसके टाइम के 5 साल पहले तक, मतलब 5 साल का एक पीरियड में साइक्लोन में अपना घरों का मेजर नुकसान हुआ है. एंड देयर इज अ वेरी क्लियर रीजन व्हाई दिस इज हैपनिंग. the kind of houses that has been built in the coastal areas, the kind of houses that has been built even in the east coast, जो बे ऑफ बंगाल जो साइक्लोन प्रोन है, माने आज से नहीं है, 150 साल से हम जानते हैं साइक्लोन प्रोन है, उससे पहले से भी था, तो वहाँ भी many of the rural houses, particularly the roofing, the window placements, this kind of thing, there is absolutely no current sort of trend that we should build houses appropriate to less damage during high winds, because there are three mechanisms through which a strong cyclone does damage. One is the high speed wind, that is most highlighted, most publicized means of damage. Oh, cyclone ka what is the velocity? It is category 3 or 4 or 5, or 150 kilometers per hour or more, 200 kilometers or more, and that is the wind around the eye of the cyclone, that is the highest speed. So that is one of the mechanisms of damage that a cyclone does damage. The second mechanism that a cyclone does major damage of property is the storm surge, जो along उस हवा के साथ समुंदर का पानी का जो एक पूरा एक दीवार को जो उठा के लेके आते हैं, दैट्स कॉल्ड ए स्टॉर्म सर्ज. तो वो जो स्टॉर्म सर्ज, दैट व्हेन दैट कम्स एंड हिट एनी स्ट्रक्चर, and this has to be remembered, I think I have talked about it earlier also, water is 800 times as dense as air. So if you are hitting it with the high speed air, that does damages, but if you are hitting with a hammer 800 times as heavy, that does much more damage. So the storm surges are capable of even breaking concrete walls, and this has been seen, whereas high speed wind generally are not capable of breaking concrete walls, but storm surges can break even concrete walls. So this has to be kept in mind, that it is not only the wind damage, the storm surge damages are also increasing along with the wind damage. So that is the second mechanism by which a cyclone does major damages. And the third damage is heavy rainfall, downpour, because just around the eye there is no rainfall, but just you go outside the eye region of the cyclone, there will be very heavy rainfall. So these three damage mechanisms has to be assessed properly, and then the kind of houses we do, we need to change in the coastal regions. And there again, like I said in the earlier year, I am giving a clear, if there are people from NFSF, I can see Nandakumar ji is there, I do not know anyone else, but if people are there from NFF also, please note that this can also be an agenda, ये भी एक agenda होना चाहिए, जो coastal area में जो एक तो अपना जो awareness building और बाकी वो तो है ही, जो किस type का house build करना है, जैसे one of the very clear things that hits me wherever I go in the coastal regions, any coastal area where cyclones are likely, you should not build a gable roof, but
should not
build a gable roof. If later on I will explain, but everywhere 90%, 80% to 90% of the poor people's houses, they do not have the money to build concrete houses, concrete roofing, but they build gable roofs. So this is one of the, and I have pointed this out in n number of workshops, trainings with NFF and NFSW and others, but I think this is not changing enough. So this is a major need now, very urgent need, that all houses must know, all people living in the coastal areas must know, even if they are poor, that if you are building a gable roof like this is like the, and there are many other things that I have also talked about, how the overhangs happen, how the joints happen, how instead of C joint you should use J joint, you should use U joints. There are several factors, but what I see, जो मैंने देखा coastal area में, even in the east coast, at least 80% of the houses of the people who cannot afford a complete concrete house, the houses are, roofs are gable roof, and all kind of wrong construction. So one is, there needs to be, at least as organized fish workers union, you should start a very clear understanding, awareness and transformation campaign, that wherever there is a possibility in the coastal region, please modify your roofing, because now it is given that there will be more cyclones, number one, that the cyclone duration will be higher and the cyclone intensity will be higher. So it will be a triple hit than you are getting earlier. So this is a given, and as we are discussing in every webinar or every meeting, the way the climate change systems have been, the earth systems have been impacted, and the state we are in the next 50-60 years, there is no relief from this continuously increasing impacts. So these impacts will keep on increasing, not decreasing, not stabilizing, keep on increasing. Only if the whole world changes rapidly towards the positive thing, then after 40-50 years we will start to see a stabilization, and after that there will be probably a reduction. But as of now, for the next 50 years at least, there is no visible reduction is projected. Of course, miracles can still happen. I am not counting miracles that okay, tomorrow the whole world decides they will phase out all fossil fuels in next 10 years and we will start doing many things. That kind of miracle I am not taking into account. Miracles can happen, but keeping those out, I think we should prepare. The second part, as I said, as a preparation for all coastal people, and this is not only fish workers. If there, I remember when the same areas, another meeting, when we were having a meeting in a school building, the local masons and carpenters, they were sitting there around 12-13 of them and listening, and they came to me after the meeting. They said, sir, हम घर बनाना तो अच्छा जानते हैं, लेकिन ये हमें किसी ने कभी बताया नहीं, तो आप हमारे लिए इसका एक ट्रेनिंग कीजिए, जो इस एरिया में किस किस्म का घर बनाने से उसका छत उड़ जाने का चांसेस कम होगा, उसको स्ट्रेंथ ज़्यादा रहेगा, उसको विंडोज़ और ये टूटेगा नहीं. तो दिस इज़ ए मेजर इम्पैक्ट दैट इज़ ऑलरेडी हैपनिंग, but we have not seen any response from the governments. And what I will suggest that as larger scale groups, unions, both NFAP, NFSAP or any others, even in the Kishan unions in the coastal areas, if you can pressurize the government, because Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana every year they give out lakhs and lakhs of houses grants, 1,30,000, 1,40,000. There is a provision somewhere in that assessing the risk, the vulnerable areas, that grant can be more. But along with that, in the cyclone prone zones of India, which are 9 states and 4 union territories in India, all are cyclone prone, not exactly equally, but as I said, all have cyclone risks and cyclone dangers have increased in all the coastal areas. So in all these 9 states and 4 union territories, whenever the PM Awas Yojana money is being given, along with that a very clear guideline for what kind of houses has to be built, what kind of roofing has to be built, and for that if there is 30 or 40,000 extra money required to make that kind of change, it has to be given, and this can come very easily. But this has to be a pressure from large organized group who have a political voice. So your political voice has to be strengthened with the scientific logic and argument and evidence. So I will also request those coastal unions, coastal fish workers union, that please try to do an assessment and evidence building that how many people have lost how much in the last 15 years or 10 years even. So that's one. The third major area, and then I will shift to, because there are a lot of other issues to be covered quickly, so I will just in next 10 minutes I will try to wrap up. So one is there are a lot of coastal infrastructure which is not engineered structures, ponds, fields. So dug wells are one of the things, because many places in the coastal areas, dug wells and bore wells, both of them give the drinking water as well as irrigation waters. So these are often damaged by the storm surge, not by the high speed wind, by the storm surge. The storm surge brings salty water into the land, into the drinking water, and they get contaminated. And once they are contaminated, there is no way but to either to drain it out and then let 3 years of monsoon rain clean it up, or you can cover it. So there are ways to tackle those problems also. I will not go into details, but those needs to be understood and given, and this has forced tens of thousands of people, rural people from Sundarban, from Kendrapada districts of Odisha and other areas, and now in Kerala, the issue of erosion I will come into quickly. Keralam. So Odisha, Kendrapada, West Bengal, Keralam, I don't know about Tamil Nadu how much is the coastal erosion problem has increased, but Andhra Pradesh, many other states are facing coastal erosion at an accelerated rate. By Government of India estimate, 33.6% of India's coast are facing accelerated erosion. So India earlier data, as per earlier data, India had a 7,560 kilometers or something. Recently modified data says nearly 11,000 kilometers because the map contouring has changed. It's not that Indian coast has changed, only the method of how much is the coastline that has changed, and Gujarat has the largest coastline, that has not changed. But this coastal erosion issue, the government data has said that 33.6% of Indian coastline is facing increased erosion. Simultaneously, around 26.8% of the coast is having accretion. That means there is a land getting more land is being deposited, or more silt and sand is being deposited in the coast. But the problem is, if my village is eroded away, I won't be happy if there is a new village space being generated 500 or 1000 kilometers away somewhere else. So my village's problem, my town's problem has to be taken as the problem that needs to be addressed here. So this is a major problem, and the coastal erosion again has increased because the increase in the climate change is also driving stronger waves, the wave erosion, the tidal erosion, and the last thing that I quickly mention and then go, because there are many other issues, I will not go into depth into details. The last thing that I want to point out is that the coastal salinity increase is a very, very serious menace. We have started a study as part of, I am a member of Kanyakumari People's Commission also, went there, did some studies with some instruments and all on the radiation, on the, and we have also initiated a study of how much the salinity increase has, salinity ingress has happened, to what extent, how many kilometers in which water sources have become saline, to what extent, taking some sample areas. But this is not a problem, and this is being done in Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu, but this is a problem all across the world, all across the world and all across the Indian coast. So erosion, and all of you probably know that some parts of Kerala is now facing lots of erosion, and not only in the coastal areas, but also by the side of the backwaters. And lot of people, because this is not that sea level rise has increased, that's the point that I wanted to mention last, because in the last 15 years, this has been noticed that the rate of sea level rise itself has dramatically risen. Earlier, before 2000, from 1960s to 2000, early 2000s, the rate of sea level rise was roughly around 2.1 to 2.2 millimeters per year. The last decade is showing, last decade and a little more, that the rate of sea level rise is now more than 4.2 millimeters per year. So this has actually doubled, and that means, as we keep on saying, most of the impacts and the relationships are non-linear. It do not hold that with a little bit of increase, earlier it was 2, so it will be that additional 0.1. The rate of increase itself is increasing. So this is a very dangerous trend, because if the sea level rise is itself increasing, on one, it's increasing every year, a little bit of land is underwater. But on top of that, that rate has increased, so next year it will not be by the same amount, but an additional amount. But on top of that, when a cyclone or a storm hit on top of a higher sea level, the ingress of salt water, the storm surge, will go further inland with the salt water. So the damages are being compounded. So this needs to be understood. और ये जो हमें समझना जरूरी है, जो कैसे, जो मैं 5-6 मैकेनिज्म अलग अलग बोला, sea level, coastal erosion, storm surge का increase, cyclone damage through the 3 mechanism उसका increase, the number of cyclones have increased. One good thing is, of course, how do you understand good thing, I don't know, but one good thing is the number of cyclones in the Bay of Bengal has not gone up, and some estimates are showing that actually the Bay of Bengal cyclone number has dropped by a small percentage. But unfortunately, the intensity of Bay of Bengal cyclones have gone up, and that's normal, because the warmer the sea surface waters is, the stronger will be the storms. Storms fuel is moisture. So that's very clear. तो ये जो मैंने 6-7 मैकेनिज्म का बोला, जो कुछ अलग तरीका से डैमेजेस का रेट बढ़ रहा है, डैमेज बढ़ रहा है, डैमेजेस का रेट बढ़ रहा है, और कुछ मैंने पॉसिबल एक्शन एज लार्जर ग्रुप्स, एज यूनियंस, एज ग्रुप्स बोला, वो कोस्टल एरियाज में मैं और डिटेल में उसमें नहीं जाऊंगा. क्विक 2 पॉइंट्स फॉर इनलैंड फिशिंग एंड इनलैंड फिश वर्कर्स. 2 थिंग्स हैव बीन नोटिस. 2 चीज़ हमने नोटिस किया. हमने मतलब पूरा जो ग्लोबल स्टडी से भी है, भारत में भी है, दक्षिण एशिया में है, जो मछुआरे जो अंतर्देशीय मैंने इनलैंड जो तालाब नदियाँ इसमें मछली पकड़ते हैं, उनके ऊपर 2 किस्म का, अगेन मैं नीतियों का असर, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में दिया जा रहा है, ठेकेदार को दिया जा रहा है, वो तो है ही, वो मैं जानता हूँ, मैं उसमें ध्यान नहीं अभी नहीं देना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि वो इम्पॉर्टेंट है. लेकिन आज हम दूसरा मुद्दा को सामने लाना चाहते हैं. तो इसलिए जो एक चीज़ हुआ है, क्योंकि टेम्परेचर्स बढ़ा है, ये सब जानते हैं ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के चलते, लेकिन जो मानसून रेनफॉल पैटर्न, जो रेनफॉल पैटर्न टोटल दोनों में जो परिवर्तन हुआ है, जो रेनफॉल जो मोर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड होता था अभी एक साथ ज़्यादा होता है. दोनों बरसात के बीच में काफ़ी लंबा सूखा पीरियड रहता है. इसके चलते इवापो ट्रांसपोरेशन लॉस ये काफ़ी बढ़ चुका है. जब पानी ज़्यादा गिरा तब आपको उसको इनफ स्टोरेज का ना मिट्टी कर पा रहा है, ना आपको तालाब कर पा रहा है, नदियाँ कर पा रहा है, नदियाँ से बह के जा रहा है. जब उसके बीच में लंबा गरम और सूखा पीरियड आ रहा है, तब उसमें इवापो ट्रांसपिरेशन लॉस, इवापोरेशन जो नॉर्मल इवापोरेशन है, साथ साथ जो पौधा है, पेड़ है, जिससे ट्रांसपिरेशन होता है पानी, ये दोनों मिलके लॉस, जो सॉइल मॉइस्चर एंड जो तालाब का मॉइस्चर, नदी का मॉइस्चर, जो पानी, ये तीनों का काफ़ी एक्सीलरेटेड लॉसेस हो रहा है. उसके चलते एवरेज एनुअल फ्लो बाय अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फ्रेश वाटर वो कम हो रहा है. और ये ट्रेंड पिछले कुछ दशकों से नज़र में आ रहा है. कुछ स्टडी में दिखा गया ये 20 से 22% लॉसेस ऑलरेडी हो चुका है. थोड़ी कुछ 2-3 महीना के अंदर आप देखेंगे, पीछे सर्च करेंगे, भागीरथी एंड गंगा में जो फ्लो है उसमें करीब 20-22 ना 30% का लॉसेस हुआ है. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे देशों में, बहुत सारे नदियों में, बहुत सारे तालाबों में, लेक में ये पानी का जो लॉस है ये बढ़ रहा है. जब मानसून का सीजन होगा तो ओवरफ्लो करेगा, इतना होगा. जब रेनफॉल होगा, जब नहीं होगा, वो लॉसेस बढ़ते हैं. तो इसके चलते इनलैंड जो फिश वर्कर्स है, मछुआरे, उनके एक नुकसान का सामने करना पड़ता है. सेकेंड चीज़ जो हुआ है, क्योंकि अभी तक भारत का जो पेनिसुलर इंडियन हिस्सा और सब हिमालयन हिस्सा, पिछले 100 साल में यहाँ जो वार्मिंग हुआ था वो एवरेज ग्लोबल वार्मिंग से थोड़ा कम था. उसका कारण है तीनों साइड का समुंदर. तो ये जो कम था, इसके चलते जो हमारे हीटिंग जो हुआ है पानी, वाटर बॉडीज़ का, उसका वो भी थोड़ा सा कम था. लेकिन ये ट्रेंड पिछले 10-15 सालों में चेंज हो गया है. तो इसमें वार्मिंग का ट्रेंड अभी ज़्यादा हो गया. ये सिर्फ मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, भारत सरकार जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आर्थ साइंस है उनका रिपोर्ट आप देखें, आप IPCC का रिपोर्ट देखें, जो 4th असेसमेंट रिपोर्ट 6 कुछ भी देखें, सभी ये क्लियर दिखा रहा है. और ये एक भी चीज़ है जो ये रिपोर्ट जो प्रेडिक्ट कर रहा है, वह फोरकास्ट कर रहा है, एक्चुअल चेंज उससे तेज़ी से हो रहा है. तो इसके चलते इनलैंड वाटर बॉडीज़ का टेम्परेचर काफ़ी बढ़ा है. और जब टेम्परेचर बढ़ते हैं, वहाँ से एवापोरेशन ही नहीं होता है, उसमें जो डिज़ोल्व ऑक्सीजन है वो ज़्यादा निकल जाते हैं. क्योंकि जब हम पानी गर्म करते हैं, पानी से जो भी गैस पानी में घुला हुआ है वो निकल जाएगा, क्योंकि टेम्परेचर के साथ डिसोल्यूशन डिपेंड करते हैं. सिंपल फिजिक्स है. तो इसके चलते सारे जीवन जो है पानी में, उसमें टॉप में मछली है, नीचे प्लांट्स है, सभी को असर पड़ रहा है. क्योंकि अवेलेबल ऑक्सीजन जो DO लेवल वो यदि कम हो जाए तो मछली कम होगा, सभी कुछ कम होगा. तो ये काफ़ी सारे असर देखने को मिल रहा है और ये ट्रेंड लाइन भी चल रहा है. तो इसको मैं अभी यहाँ ख़त्म कर रहा हूँ.
थैंक यू सो मच जी.